Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Christy Quaylar. I work with Scan Health Plan, and today I'm going to be talking about a little bit about Scan Health Plan and how we connect with Choice Medical Group. We're very proud to be connected with Choice Medical Group. As you know, that's your doctor group, and then Scan Health Plan is a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan. And I work up here locally with Choice Medical Group. We're actually sponsoring the craft events for the next quarter. So happy spring to everybody. I hope you enjoy doing the crafts. We're here to make the lives better of seniors. We're here as a resource. We're here to help you with any questions that you have that come up with prescriptions or out of area stuff, traveling, doctor groups, all of that. And so what I have here today is a little brochure that talks about Scan Health Plan. I hope that most of you know who we are. It stands for SCAN. SCAN stands for Senior Care Action Network, and we're a 4.5-star rated plan. We're here locally, so when you call myself, which I've got my phone number up here, you can call me anytime with any questions that you may have. But we're here locally, and we're here to help you with any questions that you may have. So I hope you enjoy your craft event with Cynda. We all know she's a wonderful lady. And again, I love being a part of Choice Medical Group and working with them to share you as a patient. So have a wonderful time making your craft, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Cynda with Choice Medical Group Senior Kicks Club. Going to be doing a craft with you today. This particular craft was sponsored by Scan, and we very much appreciate their sponsorship for that. This particular craft we're going to be working on today is our little girl gnome, and that's some of the things that you're going to need. Obviously here before you, the socks, some yarn, scissors, a glue gun. You can add other little things to her to decorate her, but these are the basics of the things. I'm very much looking forward to doing this with you. Want to let you know also we are going to be opening up in May. Very excited about that here at our new senior lounge on 18564 Highway 18 in Apple Valley, Suite 107. Looking forward to seeing everybody again in person. And so now let's get started. So get our rice and get it opened up here. Then I'm going to have taken my sock, and as you can tell, I've tucked it inside this cup here. That's going to help me be able to fill it without it falling over, hopefully. Yeah, we'll tap that down in there a little bit. Fill her up a little bit more. I'm going to push that down in there because I want it to fill as much of this as possible. So, looking at this, and I think I want that to be a little more filled than that. So I'm going to tap it down good, get a good body on it. And then I'm going to pour some of this in this cup now, and that'll help me hopefully pour it into the sock a little easier. Handling the bag and the sock might be a little more fun. I'm going to get this. I think that's just about the size that I'd like to have her. And I want to remember that at some point I'm going to pull a nose up in here, so I want to make sure I have enough to do that. Looks like we're good. Get this out of my way. put the last little bit of that in there just because it's in that cup and I can do it. There we go. I like that. Okay, so now that I've tamped her down a little bit, I'm going to take a couple of these little rubber bands. And we're going to tie off this top. Perfect. I like that, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to put a little dab of glue in the top just to make sure that that doesn't come undone, a little bit around here so that I can keep that glued down. So now what I want to do is I'm going to find a little spot on here that I like, and I want to do her nose. And to do the nose, you're just going to kind of squeeze it out a bit. I'm going to take a rubber band again. As soon as I get a nose the size I like, I think I want this girl to have a substantial little gnome nose. Perfect. So there we have our little gnome nose. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to get some clothes on this girl. So what do we want? It's deciding what color do we want. Do we want her hat this? Do we want her body this? And I think today I'm going to go ahead and do her with a little pink body, and I'm going to have the more colorful hat. So go ahead and let's get her dressed. Okay, so we've got her tucked in here. Now, one of the things we're going to want is to have this underneath here. So this I'm going to take, I'm going to cut a little bit of this off. I think I'll clip this down just a little bit so we can get this under her nose. And then I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to make sure it stays under her nose. Put a little bit of glue under here and around the side. And I'm going to pull this up and around just like that. And we've got the glue up now on both sides to hold that in place. A little glue here. Take this over. A little glue on top. And we're going to take this over. Let that set up a bit. Just a little glue in here. We're going to lay each of these layers down. And you don't have to worry, this is all, doesn't have to be all pretty on top here, because this is all going to be covered up. We just want to make sure that her clothes don't come slipping off, and that we have everything covered up here. The only thing we want sticking out there is her nose. Perfect. So while that's setting up, the next thing I want to do is I want to decide about her hat. Where do I want it? It looks like that's going to be a good spot. Now you notice this has a little heel in it. I don't want that heel on my hat. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it straight across. Take that little heel out. That looks like it's going to work out just perfect, and like I said, not going to need to worry about that. So now that I know that this hat, how it's going to fit, my next thing that we want to do is we want to put her hair on here. Little girl gnomes. We're going to put braids on her. Now you can do anything you want. You can make them little ponytails where they're not braided. You can make it much thicker than these. You can do any number of hairstyles you care to with a little girl. But I found this one worked really well for me. I like the little braids. So I put these together. Find just about the center. Just so that I could help myself get these braids done properly. I measured this way. I put a rubber band, just kind of adjusted it. Now I know where I want it to be, pinch it off, and finish putting the rubber band on. Now some of you may decide that this is the point where you're going to set yours down and go ahead and braid yours. For me, I found it was a little easier for me to go ahead, place her hair right here on her, and glue it in place, and then do the braiding. So that's what I'm going to do. You can see I'm just holding it down on that glue until it sets a little bit. While that's setting, because I like to just keep moving along with things, I have a little piece of chalk here. Now you don't have to use chalk. You can use some of your own blush from your makeup case, anything like that you want, anything that's going to make a powder effect. And right here, I'm going to put a little blush on her nose. And this is all I have to do is just rub this little chalk on here. Gives a little kind of a blush to the nose. You can use a light orange, a pink, whatever you're comfortable with. I got it on there, and I'm going to brush it down in there a little bit. So now we've got her nose blushed, her hair set up, and now I'm going to go ahead and braid her hair. Now if you braid it very tightly, it won't be as full, depending again on the yarn that you're using. This one here. I'll put another little rubber band on it, hold that in place. And I'm going to do the other side also. I'm doing mine a little bit loose so that it makes the braids just a tad more full. I'm sure everybody wondered what little girl gnomes looked like. We all know the little fuzzy faces on the men gnomes. They have their little beards. Again, I'm going to put another rubber band on this braid just to kind of hold it. Now when you get to the end of these braids, you have a couple of choices also. And that, on the one that I did as an example, I put little pieces of ribbon and turned that into the little bows here. On this particular one, I thought I wanted to do something a little bit sparkly and a little easier on my hands. So I found these really cute little pipe cleaners that were very sparkly. And they don't have to be sparkly, just a little pipe cleaner. But I think this is going to help me with my hair today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little piece of this, just regular scissors. And I'm going to wrap it around my braid. Right over the top of where that rubber band is. And so now I have that look. I'm going to trim her hair so that it doesn't look quite so scruffy. And I'm going to separate the bottom of this yarn here. Give it a fluff. That looks a little better there. Bend these down a little. Do the other side. Again, we're going to trim this. Kind of separate this, get it a little fluffier at the bottom. And I kind of like that look. I think I want just something a little more decorative there. So I'm going to see if I can make a little bow shape. Bend this and bend this. And it gives it kind of this little bowed shape. And put a little dab of glue on the back of that. And I'm going to add that. So that it gives that little ribboned effect like that. Do that the same on the other side. Little bend there. And a little bend there. Oops. Little dab of glue. And that gives her a couple of really nice bright little bows in her hair. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put her little buttons down the front of her outfit here. And again, those are all going to be done with a little dab of glue. 1, 2, and 3. Because I have 3. Now some of you may decide you can do these with these little pom-poms. You can do them with buttons. You can do them with little glass beads. Any number of decorative items. You can do nothing at all if you want to put a little belt on her. Put a belt on her. But these were the decorations I decided I liked. So I'm going to have it just like that. I think she's coming together. So cute. Okay, now we want to put our hat on. You obviously don't want to have this hair showing. So our hat has to come all the way to the front and cover that up. So I'm going to tuck that down like that. Yep, that's going to be good. Now I'm going to put a little dab of glue there. I'm going to let it drip down just a little bit behind that nose. And I'm going to pull my hat down, give it a little curl, let that set. And we want to make sure that sets good and tight because otherwise it's going to pull up over the top of her hair and it's going to show that little spot, and we don't want that to show. And then you go ahead and you're going to take your glue and all the way around here, pulling her hat down a little bit to the back. It can be okay to have it roll up, but just pull it down and you're going to put a little bead of glue under it all the way around and make sure that that hat stays down tight. So let's get that done. I'm going to go from one side to the other. I'm not going to try to do it down the back and then run out of the space I need. I think I need a little glue under here, just the way it feels. You may or may not, just to bring that braid down and keep that braid tight down also. Go to the other side, do the same thing. A little bit of glue underneath that there, and glue down all the way down around the edge to pull that hat down. Again, I'm allowing for a little bit of a rolled edge that gives the hat that nice little look of having an edge to it, a little brim to it. Now I'm going to go down around the back the same way. And you want to make sure, pull your hat down in the back. Make sure it comes down low. It's just kind of part of the cuteness to the look. Making sure that's allowing for that to have a little extra on the side to roll. Hold it down around the back. Make sure I have plenty of glue up under this side here. Roll it down. Give this a little time to set. Cute. Now, one of the things that we want to do on our hat is we're going to let that set a little more. I'm going to pull this up, and for me, I liked to have kind of the look that it came to a point. So I'm going to put a little glue in here, and I'm going to fold each of these sections over a little. I'm going to put this one in, and then I'm going to fold this one over also, and it gives it kind of a pointed look on here. Work with my hat a little bit, making it there. And on this down here, now I want to decide, I want to add a little bit of a little ball to the end of my hat. Let me see which one. I had a couple to work with here. I think I'm going to make it this shiny one, go with her hair a little better. Put a little dab of glue on here. Make sure it holds on good and tight. Hold that in place. It's our little winter cap. Now, if you want to make your hat stand up a little bit more, you can stuff some things in your hat. You obviously have some room in here. If you want it to stand up on her head and that, or you want to give it some different, I kind of like this one that's just kind of, I can pull it around and let it drop over just like that. So that's how I liked mine. And because this little girl here, we're going to decorate her a little bit for Easter. I have these cute little bunnies here, and I'm going to glue some of those on her. But I want to stand her up. Right now she's kind of a chunky little girl. Not that that's a bad thing. And I'm going to kind of tap her and get her a little bit of length to her, so she's not quite so short. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure out where I want these little bunnies. And how many do I want, or do I think I like that one down there. So I'm going to glue a couple of these on and see if I even want any more than that. Hopefully you're taking that moment too to see what you want. Oh, I like the little purple one on the bottom there. And for me, I'm thinking 2 little bunnies is probably enough. Now on this little sample here, you can see that I put some little frilly stuff behind her. You can decorate your little gnome any way you want. Maybe glue a flower on the back side here, put flowers in her hair. But I kind of like this one being just a little on the simpler side. She's very cute. It was really fun doing this craft with you. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.